What's going on, Dana? Obviously, a crazy day for you, I'm sure. First and foremost, can you tell us the latest on Rob? We saw that he's out of surgery, but what can you tell us about his condition?
That's it. He's out of surgery, and basically what they told me was his, his colon and his intestines had popped out. And they don't think that he didn't do anything yesterday, so they don't think it was anything that he did yesterday. They think he's had it for a while, and it's been popping in and out. The scary part is that if he took a shot to the stomach while that was he could have died. I mean, he could rupture the colon and you become septic, and that's not good. So, everything happens for a reason. This worked out, it's great the way this worked out, actually, to find out that this kid had this problem and was unhealthy, and we were able to get it fixed, and they think he'll be out 4 to 6 weeks. I was talking to Matt Damon tonight, and he disagrees. He said he's had hernia surgery, and anybody who said 4 to 6 weeks is ridiculous. That's not right. So we'll see how this thing plays out for Rob. I don't know.
Hey, Dana.
Hey.
There's a lot of uncertainty in a number of the divisions, and in this middleweight division is now fits that characterization as well. Do you think at any point the UFC would consider outlining specific criteria for determining who the next number one contender is, specifically because you guys call yourself a league?
I think we did, didn't we?
Yeah, you did in this fight, but it tends to be rare, and it seems to be a lot of uncertainty. We go into these fights.
How does it tend to be rare?
Well, like lightweight's a good example.
Okay.
Where Ferguson won the interim title and then was stripped, and now we're not sure.
He got hurt.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing that he won the title.
Then what are you saying?
I'm saying that a lot of fighters feel like they fight for a number one contender fight, win, and then something else happens
but
a month
it's all
later.
based on who's healthy, who's ready to go, and who's not. Because the machine has to keep rolling. We have X amount of fights every year, and if you can't defend, listen, when you win an interim title, it means you're next. If you can't go next, it means you're out and somebody else goes next. I think that's the criteria. That's what we always do.
All right, thank you.
Disagree?
I think a lot of fighters disagree. I mean, we hear a lot of
Fighters
talk
disagree
about
with
that.
everything I say. I'm not asking if the fighters do. Do you disagree?
I would disagree with that, yeah.
And why? How would you disagree with that? So Colby Covington won the interim title. He was next. He couldn't fight. He turned down the fight with Tyron Woodley. So what am I supposed to wait for Colby Covington to show up and fight? That's not how it works. Tony's next. He's got the fight. He's got the belt. Trips blows his knee out and has to have, reconstructive knee surgery. We're going to wait for him? No, we're going to move on.
But Tony Ferguson fought on the same card as the unification fight between Conor McGregor and Khabib. So he was ready to fight for the undisputed title.
Right, but he missed his opportunity. We already made the fight. He was out.
Okay.
Now he'll be next. You're wrong, sir.
Hi, Dana.
How are you?
Very well. Are you able to rule out at all in the next 3-4 months of ever stripping Rob of the title?
To rule out stripping him in the next 3 months? No, he's going to be better in 4 to 6 weeks. When we have a guy who blows an ACL or says I'm going to take some time off or things like this, those we look at how long the guys are going to be off. Then we look at whether these other guys should have to wait. Time is not your friend in this business. So when one guy decides he wants to take time, it's not fair to everybody else that is in there grinding and fighting. So Rob is looking like 4 to 6 weeks. We'll see how his progression goes, and we'll go from there.
Sorry, Dana, just on interim titles, Khabib spoke about maybe taking a break till November, and Cowboy Cerrone was here talking about a potential Conor McGregor fight. I'm just wondering, what's the lightweight division sort of look like for you at the moment? And if Khabib does sit out till November, would you actually entertain the idea of bringing in an interim title?
Well, like this gentleman just said, I just said, guys can't sit out and wait that long when you have the title. You can't do it. So if that's true and he's going to do that, then we'd have to figure out something else. And you start looking at whether it's Conor McGregor, Tony Ferguson, or, one of these other guys. Whoever wants to, when opportunity knocks, answer the door. And we'll see how this thing plays out. That's the criteria. I'm just messing with you, man.
Dana, someone who definitely doesn't want to sit out is Ben Askren. With his attitude and the entertainment he's already brought to the UFC now, particularly on Twitter, even though he hasn't already fought, do you wish you'd brought him in a little bit earlier?
Say that again. Askren wants to fight. He wants to fight everybody. Am I looking to do what?
Do you wish you'd brought him into the UFC a little bit earlier?
Oh. No, I think right now is the perfect time. Seriously, I think right now is the perfect time. Listen, this guy cruised around and he fought in different promotions, and you know he's 27-0 now, and he's here, and people are excited about him being here now, and let's see what happens.
No doubt. Last thing on this situation, of course, we got to see how long Rob is going to be out. But does Kelvin keep his place as the #1 contender? I mean, is he guaranteed the next title shot or whatever happens? I mean, is he involved in it?
Well, we have to see how this thing plays out with the champ and see how long he's going to be out, and you know what I mean. And we'll go from there.
Nice. And then just lastly for me, can we get your thoughts on the main event? How Israel Adesanya looked? I mean, a big win for him over a legend. But what did you think of his performance, and where do you see him at his position in his career?
It was fun, man. That first round was like a kung fu movie, you know. It was a fun fight to watch, very fun, with two guys who are incredibly talented. I was saying yesterday, any odds makers that makes Anderson Silva 7-1 is out of their mind. I mean, the guy is always taking care of himself. He's a great martial artist, and you know, that was a fun fight. But Israel went in with a sold-out house tonight. You know, a lot of pressure on him to go in against the guy. You know, Anderson's 42 years old. He's supposed to go in and beat Anderson. You know, but those are the kind of positions you're in that you got a lot of pressure on you when you go in. Anderson even said, all the pressure's on him. There's none on me. And it was a fun fight. I think he did a good job against nobody. I don't know how people can't give Anderson Silva the credit that this guy deserves. 7-1 underdog. He's a crafty veteran. He's very talented. He's got knockout power. And if it went to the ground, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu and has submitted a lot of guys who are great jiu-jitsu, you know, black belts. So people are nuts counting him out.
Calvin was in the back with a belt on his shoulder. I'm just wondering your reaction to seeing Calvin walking around with a belt today at the event and sort of ringside.
That was Cejudo's belt that he borrowed. You know, yeah, it was cute.
Just in terms of Israel, as far as what's next, do you think there's any chance that he sort of gets this title shot over Kelvin Gastelum? I know there's unfinished business there, but at the presser there was talk that, you know, this was for the #1 contender spot.
Well, I think it is. This was for the #1 contender spot, but we got to see how this plays out with Robin and how he's feeling.
Just last one for me, Jimmy Crute, you're obviously very high on him at the press conference. What did you think of his win?
I think he looked damn good, and especially against a really, really tough guy. I think there's only been 3 people that have ever finished him out of 40-something fights. So I didn't agree with the stoppage. I thought it was a bad stoppage. A lot of those shots were hitting him on the arm, but he was obviously hurt. But the fight could have gone a little longer. We could have saw a little bit more Crute. Bad stoppage, in my opinion.
And your thoughts on the Conor McGregor link? Conor tweeted out he'd like to fight Anderson. It would be an honor.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't like that fight at all.
Fair enough. And just to clarify, Kelvin was back here. He said that there'd been some talks, but he received some payment for today, right?
What? Who?
Kelvin.
Kelvin?
Yeah.
He has not yet. Yeah, but he will.
Okay. Thank you.
Dana, Kelvin and Israel both took a shot at Rob tonight in their own interviews for not turning up to work.
Yeah.
I wonder what you make of that.
Listen, the guy got hurt. He's a human being. His colon and his intestine popped through his stomach. I think we can give him a pass on not showing up to work, and I'm glad that he that it happened, because they think it's been there for a while and they think it's been bothering him for a while, and he didn't realize what it was, and super dangerous. This is something legit. This is something real. This isn't some bullshit like some of the guys recently who have turned down fights. This is as legit and as real as you can get. And his family was fighting with him because he didn't want to go to the hospital till 5 o'clock this morning. He was actually going to fight, push through it and fight, and thank God he didn't. So, yeah.
And,
There's guys out there that you can ridicule. Rob Whittaker isn't one of them.
I was going to say, you mentioned too before about the show's got to go on. So obviously, around the middleweight division, there's a lot of guys who want to fight for a belt. How long would you want him till he's back?
Well, hopefully this thing's only going to be 4 to 6 weeks, according to the doctors. So, you know, he's in great shape right now. They said he had the best camp ever. His cut was easy. Everything was perfect. And then this thing happened to him. So he's in great shape. And let's see how long it takes him to recover from this. And we'll make something as fast as we can.